You don't have to love racing to love Gran Turismo, because what you're really watching is this feel-good sports movie. Yeah! It's the incredible true story of a gamer who became a professional race car driver and changed the most elite sport in the world.
Welcome to Team Nissan.
Jan is this kid who has no understanding of the racing world apart from a video game.
Have you thought about going back to university?
All I ever wanted to do is be a racer. Not again about the race cars. You're the one that told us to always do something we love.
It's about trying to achieve your dreams.
Look around. That's not our world, son. You know what racing your cars cost?
Jan gets this opportunity.
What is this?
It's a contest. The best Gran Turismo players in the world get a chance to compete in professional racing.
Be careful.
Everybody's really counting Jan out, saying he can't win.
I can't see anything! I'm not sure if I can do this.
Most people can't. I got a feeling you're not most people. Together,
I'm not gonna quit.
they start to believe they can do the impossible.
Come on! Get in the fight! Roger that.
Gran Turismo, based on a true story.
Stick it to your brows. 16-hour hold, now in 4 inclusive tints. No stick, no flake. Brows unsnatched. Period.
Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing today? Okay, so I think we all know what I'm here for. I'm here to talk about Colleen Ballinger's response to all of the allegations that have been coming out over the past few weeks. Colleen Ballinger just released a video, I think less than a half an hour ago, on her vlog channel, and she titled the video Hi. So I was sitting on the beach. I actually just talked about this in my last video where I was talking about Colleen Ballinger. I said that I knew that her response video would come out this week because every time that I'm on vacation, something big pops off. So I knew that Colleen Ballinger's response video was gonna come out this week. And it's not just that, I also knew that it had been over 3 weeks at this point. If she was gonna come out and make a statement, she had to do it now, because if she waited any longer, she had to do something to try to save face. I'm not really sure what this video was. I really have to believe, and I was reading through some of the comments, and the comments underneath there are like, Colleen, I love you so much. I've been thinking about you the past few weeks. Colleen, I've always stood by your side. I'll always stand by your side. There's very few negative comments on the video, which she even says something in the video about the negative comments that she's gonna receive. I'm not sure if she's gonna see them or not, because apparently her team is deleting comments left and right, it appears. I haven't seen a lot of really negative comments on the video, so I'll just say that. But I'm not really sure what she was trying to achieve by doing this video. She comes across as very, very bitter. Like she doesn't really understand you know, what it kind of reminds me of actually is, and this is something that I did not say in my last video talking about Laura Lee and Manny, when they did their podcast and they took their podcast down, and they still have not spoken as to why they took their podcast down and things like that. But if you go back and you watch the full podcast coverage where they're talking about Colleen Ballinger and Dustin Daly actually with Paige Christie, they go through the entire part where they're talking about Colleen Ballinger, and so you could hear the whole thing. And one of the things that I forgot to talk about was how much Laura Lee makes it about herself and how tired she is of getting lumped in with this group and how tired she is of getting lumped in with that group. And every time something happens to, you know, one of her friends, or even if it's somebody that she doesn't know that's another influencer, and it was really a lot about how Laura is impacted by this, right? So I didn't really know what to expect going into this Colleen Ballinger video, but it's really, she makes it all about herself and what she's going through. And it's very much a pity me, pity me, pity me, pity me video. And I think that what she was trying to do was garner sympathy and empathy from the few remaining fans that she still has that have not taken the time to educate themselves on the facts that are out there, on the multiple videos where she has made inappropriate jokes, whether she's Miranda Sings or not. And in fact, at one point, she says something to the effect that Miranda Sings is, even in the description box, it says that it's a PG-13 channel, and that's why it's not played on the kids channel on YouTube and things like that, which is interesting to me, right? And she said it's not really her job to monitor who is watching her videos and things like that, which, hey, listen, I totally agree with. Every one of my videos on every one of my channels, I click the box that says not made for kids, right? If kids watch that video, that's not my job to monitor that. So I do agree with her on that. The thing that's interesting to me is the multiple, I mean, literally, let's just be honest, right? Hundreds and hundreds of pictures that she has taken with children that are much younger than the age of 13, okay? Lots of kids that are dressed up like Miranda sings at her shows that are 5, 6, 7 years old. She's even, you know, put them in thumbnails of her videos and things like that. Children that are much younger than the age of 13. So for her to act like she doesn't have to monitor that, but then she also garners that much younger audience. And what it's saying is, she right there is acknowledging that the jokes for Miranda Sings are for an older audience. She can't monitor who it is, but then at the same time, you're taking pictures with kids that are 5, 6, 7, 8 years old at your shows where you're telling inappropriate jokes, and you know that because you're taking pictures with them, right? So it just, to me, like, she seems to have really no kind of awareness about the depth of what's going on. And I really believe that the video is aimed at the few fans out there that will stand by Colleen Ballinger and Miranda Sings no matter what, right? Because she doesn't come out and really give any evidence. She doesn't really, you know, say anything to the contrary of the allegations that are going on. She doesn't talk about the group chats really, except for to say that she had inappropriate boundaries with fans because she didn't know otherwise. She talks about in there, she doesn't talk about the direct messages that she has had with Adam McIntyre and many other people. She doesn't talk about, you know, on and on and on. There's so many, the video clips that are out there. There's so much that she doesn't address and talk about. But she does say in there, you know, that she is a changed person today, which is, okay, this is like one of my least favorite things on YouTube is when these influencers come out and they say, I'm a changed person. I've worked on taking accountability. I'm a changed person today. I'm not the same person I was then, but they don't tell you how they've worked on becoming a different person, okay? Colleen Ballinger was still in this group chat, this one group chat, until like 3 or 4 days ago. So I don't know how much of a changed person she was, but she was still in this group chat till 3 or 4 days ago. So that tells you that she references 5 years ago at one point. I don't know what she learned 5 years ago, but she was still in this group chat 3 to 4 days ago, okay? So maybe she just learned something in the last 3 to 4 days, but this really bothers me. And listen, I just want to say this before I get into any more of the meat and potatoes of this video. I am all for somebody taking accountability, growing as a human being, okay? Taking ownership over their actions and continuing to be a better person, all right? I'm all for that, right? But then if you're going to use that as your excuse, explain to people how you did that. If you're going to say, I'm not the same person that I was today or yesterday, and I've taken accountability and I've really worked on myself the last couple of years, what does that work look like, you know? And for those of you that don't know, I have been sober for 28 and a half years, all right? And I have had my times on YouTube, and I have really, really worked on myself. For example, I have done inventory with my sponsor. I've taken a look at my actions. I've taken a look at my part. I've taken a look at why did I think that certain things were okay at a certain point, and that today I look back on those and I think there's nothing right about that at all, right? Why did I think that it was okay to speak to people in certain ways when today I look back at that and I think there was nothing right about that whatsoever? And I had to put that into action, and I had to start doing the opposite, right? I also took those exact same things that I talked to my sponsor about and took it to my therapist. And my therapist and I worked on those things, and he gave me books to read on how to work on, you know, not being so reactionary and being more responsive, not to have tones of aggression and anger, right? And so I read a lot of books about that. I've watched tons and tons of, you know, videos and all kinds of things on that. And I've done hours and hours of therapy and hours of inventory with my sponsor in recovery on how to work on these issues. And we call those character defects in recovery, and how to do the opposite and how to be a better person, right? And I try to do that on a daily basis. But I can sit here in a video and I can explain to you bit by bit. And if you guys want to hear an hour-long video of everything that I've done and all the inventory I've done and the amends that I've made, because I've made amends to a lot of people that I directly affected. I just did a video not too long ago called Behind the Scenes, and I talked about 3 people in there that I made direct amends to that I had affected as a YouTuber. And that was part of my changing and being a better person. And when you make amends to somebody, what you say is, this is an amendment to who I am. I'm not going to be the same person that I was in the past. And I believe today I have proven to those three people that I wasn't the same person going forward, right? So for me, when Colleen Ballinger wants to come out in a video and say, I'm different than I was, I take accountability, I'm not the same person that I was in the past, explain to us what changed for you. Explain to us the moment that you knew that those boundaries or lack of boundaries, that those conversations were inappropriate. Explain to us as your audience that you're trying to hold on to. Explain to us as somebody that you really care about your career that you've worked on for 15 years, that she says. Explain to us as somebody that comes across as so bitter in this video that she actually has to get on here and even address these allegations. Explain to us what changes that have actually occurred and what you have done to better yourself as a person. Where are you making amends to people? Where have you gone out and tried to show that you're a different person? You're still making a lot of the same jokes in your shows, and that's been proven. People are taking videos at your shows and you're still doing the same jokes and the same routines that you were doing. Just in the last week, did you start taking down some of those skits and those routines in your shows when you got called out on it? So I'm confused. Did this change just occur in the last week when you got called out on it? You know, so for me, it's very much like, you know, when you get called out on something, that's when you have to actually do something about it, right? Now, she gets in this video and she says that her team has been like recommending that she not talk about it, her team, okay? Colleen Ballinger started as a YouTuber with a camera, just like me, just like anybody else that has 100 subs on YouTube. She started out as a YouTuber with no team, with just a camera and whatever, okay? Don't tell me that at the end of the day, Colleen Ballinger doesn't run her own show. I do not believe that for 1 second, okay? I don't care who her team is. I don't care if it's a team of attorneys, because I can tell you, any team of attorneys would say, you should never have made this video. This video of you getting in it, doing this ukulele routine and singing a bitter ass song is not a good look, okay? You should not have done this. So she gets in this video and she says that her team has told her that she shouldn't talk about this, right? But they never said she couldn't sing about it. And I'm like sitting here and I'm like, she isn't really gonna do this, is she? Is she really gonna sing this entire video addressing these allegations? Like, she really isn't gonna do this, okay? Like, seriously? Like, these are serious, serious allegations, you guys, okay? And if you don't know what I'm talking about at this point, I'm not gonna go back and educate. You guys can go back and watch Adam McIntyre's videos. You guys can go and look online. You guys can read the Rolling Stone article, the NBC article. You guys can go and read the, Huffington Post article, the BuzzFeed article. You guys can read all the articles that are out there that has all the information. You guys can read the articles. I think the Rolling Stone article, or one of the articles, the NBC article, has an interview that they did with Colleen's ex-husband, where he in there takes a lot of responsibility and basically says that yes, Colleen was like this and things like that. So for her to get in this video and sing a song and make light of the allegations, I'm like, girl, seriously, this is such a bad look. Like, what this says is you really do not understand how bad this is, okay? You do not understand that, right? And then she goes in this whole thing and she says things about how she had inappropriate boundaries and that she didn't really know at the time. She was a 30-year-old woman, okay? She was in her 30s when she was having conversations with these kids, right? So in her 30s, she didn't know that it was inappropriate to have these kind of conversations with teenagers, kids that were 12, 13 years old, kids that were younger than the age that she was making her videos for, right? She didn't know that it was inappropriate for her to have those conversations, all right? So she says that. And then she says, the things that she did, the inappropriate jokes and all this kind of stuff, right? So she acknowledges all of that and she says something about taking accountability or something. But then she goes in this whole thing and talks about, but if you want to get on like the toxic gossip train and, believe the lies, gossip, and manipulation, and I'm sitting here and I'm watching this and I'm thinking to myself, okay, so can somebody explain to me how Colleen Ballinger literally just got in a video, a sing-song video with a ukulele, okay, that she's making light of this, and you can tell she is so bitter and so angry that she even has to sit down and do this? How you're gonna get in a video, I mean, this to me so speaks. No wonder James Charles defended her, and no wonder she defended James Charles. They are literally birds of a feather, okay? Because James Charles gets in a video and takes accountability. It's called taking accountability, all right? And calls them victims, and then basically comes out later and says, I did nothing wrong, right? So Colleen Ballinger gets in this video and she says, I had inappropriate boundaries with minors. I just thought they were my friends. I thought they were my fans. Girl, when you are 30 years old, a 12-year-old is not your friend. I'm sorry, okay? And any 30-year-old knows that. Let's just be for real, okay? So anyway, so she says all this kind of stuff. She basically takes some accountability for her actions in the past without really addressing anything. But then she says in the video that it's gossip, lies, and manipulation, all for entertainment. Sweetheart, I don't know what you think, okay? But these people that were kids that are now grown adults that are reliving the traumatic experiences that you caused is not entertainment for them, okay? This is not fun for them. And for anybody out there that has followed this on Twitter, and I have followed it very, very closely, to see the things that these people are saying and to see that how it has affected their life. I actually just watched this TikTok the other day of the girl that Colleen Ballinger did the simulated sex act with while she was on stage, and she had the skirt on with the spandex underneath it. In her TikTok, her name's Becky, I believe, she goes in and explains how this has affected her years later, okay? That is not gossip. That is not rumor. That is not entertainment. That is somebody's life experience that you caused, okay? And yet you still have the inability to get in a video. She should just not have made a video, period, okay? To get in a video and make light of these kids' trauma and do this sing-songy thing with a ukulele. Now, I just want to put this in perspective for you, all right? If this were any man that was Colleen Ballinger's age, that was like 35, 36 years old, if this were any man in Hollywood, she is not just a YouTuber, okay? She has 2 shows on Netflix right now. She has been on major talk shows. Colleen Ballinger is a celebrity, all right? A multi-millionaire celebrity that used kids, minors, okay, to get to where she is at today. If this were any man her age, okay, can you even imagine that were accused of these kinds of things, and that there were thousands and thousands of pieces of evidence at this point? Okay, I mean, literally thousands, you guys, okay? Of text messages, direct messages, of group chats where she's saying inappropriate things. Can you imagine if a man got in a video and said, I just didn't know that a 15-year-old wasn't my friend, and I shouldn't have been doing those things? But are you kidding me? Over. His career and his life would be over, all right? And yet, for some reason, Colleen Ballinger thinks this is okay. And what's really scary to me is the people underneath her comment sections that are like, oh, Colleen, I knew there was no truth to this. Colleen, I have been a fan of yours for years and years and years. Colleen, I love you so much. Colleen, I've always stood by you. How do you stand by this? I don't understand. Can somebody please explain to me how you stand by this stupidity, ridiculousness, trauma that she has caused, that she has caused multiple people? And she said in there, I know that you thought I was going to get in this video and that I was going to say that I was wrong, but I'm not going to do that. I mean, she basically says, I'm not taking any ownership. But then she says in the video that she needs to take accountability for these inappropriate boundaries because she didn't have any boundaries with these minors, and she didn't know that that was wrong, that she's just like the weird aunt at a family reunion. No, girl, that's not called the weird aunt. And I just want to say this real quick, okay? She uses this analogy as like the weird aunt at a family reunion, okay? Well, let's just talk about the weird uncle at the family reunion, since we want to talk about, you know, sexism and things like that, right? That weird uncle at the family reunion, you don't let your kids go around, right? Especially if they had all these things and they were talking to all these kind of things. So why is it any different? And she gets away with getting a video and going, I'm just kind of like the weird aunt at a family reunion. You're right, girl, you're weird. You're straight up weird. And I'll tell you why you're weird, because you don't see that there's anything wrong in this, okay? And you have a lot of work to do. And you need to get yourself a real good therapist and sit down and talk to that therapist. And the first thing you need to say to her is, I have affected a lot of people's lives traumatically. I don't want to get in a video and own that because it's going to hurt me legally. They might come after me in lawsuits, whatever. But I cannot go to sleep at night and put my head on the pillow with knowing that I have affected these people in a negative way. Yet I still see it as all these people talking about it for entertainment and for gossip. I'm having a really hard time taking accountability for it, and I really can't see my part in this at all. Can you explain to me? And I can tell you that therapist is going to look at you like, girl, what? Like, show them the evidence, okay? Show somebody the evidence. This is what is just absolutely baffling to me, is that there is, I mean, you guys go out there and just read a couple of the group chats, okay? It's not like she's just sitting there and she's talking to her fans as a 30-year-old woman talking to minors, okay, that were 15, 14 years old at the time, okay? It's not like she's just saying to them things like, hey, how are you? What's your favorite Pokemon? Hey, I got some chewing gum today. Do you guys like chewing gum? It's not those kinds of conversations. It's conversations to Adam McIntyre like, what is your favorite sexual position, okay? Girl, that's not inappropriate behaviors. That's not inappropriate boundaries. That's inappropriate, okay? Period. You were inappropriate with minors. Let's break it down and call it what it is. I don't know why people are standing there and they're seeing this evidence and they're like, I don't think that Colleen Ballinger did anything and I'm going to stand beside her till the very, very end. How can you? How can you? I don't understand that. Can somebody explain that to me? And then she has the nerve and the audacity to get in a video and call it hi and not even put it up on her Colleen Ballinger channel, but put it up on her vlog channel, okay? And call it hi and do some sing-songy video where she talks about how she's really been going through it and this is so hard for her and this is so tough for her and that everybody's trying to destroy her and she might not make it off this toxicity train and everybody's trying to destroy her and everybody's trying to take down her. Girl, have you thought for 1 second, just like, has this even entered your mind at all, okay? Now let's grant for a second, let's say that she is a changed person. Let's say if she has worked on herself. So for all of you out there that want to say, Colleen Ballinger is a changed person today, Colleen Ballinger is different than she used to be, I stand by Colleen Ballinger. Okay, here's the question that I ask you. If Colleen Ballinger is a changed person today, and she is empathetic, and she is sympathetic, and she is compassionate, and she has changed, and she is not the same person that she was back in the day,